Hey everybody, welcome back to Kingdoms Reborn. In the last episode, we got wine up and going. We advanced our food to try to keep up with our ever-growing demands, and we continue to push towards the industrial age. We've got 3 of the 4 coffee makers done. I believe the last one is ready to build. I guess I need to go ahead and enable it. I've done a lot of wars between episodes, getting us 117 upgrade points that we're going to be using on bakeries in this episode, as well as a few other things. The first thing that we want to do is take a look at coffee as that last coffee brewer gets going. So starting out, it is 28 raw coffee into 21 of the coffee. If we do the adjustment of the budget, we give it a little bit extra work hours, we can bring it to 28 to 30. This is where we want to be. If we go with the alcohol appreciation, coffee appreciation, geez, oh Pete, if we go with that, it brings us to 32. We would want to have paper in order to get the improved roasting. I don't think that the upgraded coffee town is going to be worthwhile, but we just need that last one to finish to get to the advanced coffee maker. Now, speaking of that, I did some adjustments between episodes, including I set the production limit of 1,000 on the magic mushrooms. Apparently, I shut off the production of the magic mushrooms. It was set to 0, so we stopped producing them. Magic mushrooms fell off. We could probably, now that we have tools, we could probably do the treatment for an extra 30%. Gets us up to 124. We may want to switch out the motivation books with sustainability cards for this because I'm starting to see an issue with wood. I went ahead and added 2 more foresters between episodes to get that under control. The windmills, I set them down to 2 workers apiece, as we are going to have a lot of windmills. The advanced beer, I set it to 8 workers. I'm hoping that it kind of maintains. Let's go ahead and move it into the enlightened age. Now we're ready for the industrial age. I'm thinking, because this was capping out and stopping, this should get a more consistent production year round, allowing us to have people have other jobs. And then it brings us down to the advanced bakery, which I set to 12 of 16. Now, haulers are the issue that we're running into. We do need some haulers, and you can see that we currently don't have any haulers in place. This is an issue. We're a little bit low on workers. I'm going to pop one of the immigration cards to try to get us under control, as we're going to be adding more bakeries. You can see that our kids are really high at the moment. Like to see them maybe around 50, with that 30 moved back into the labor force. That'd be the neighborhood of where we want to be, and we're a little short of what our housing is, so we've got some room to improve, but at least we have 50 plus houses for the coffee. Now, if we picked up the breeder, I don't think we have enough money, so we might need to let time play out. You can see that money's in good shape, and that has to do with the wars that we've been waging. Speaking of that, I want to try out a raid, and I added some shrubbery around this theater, making it look pretty good. And I'd like to see it with cypress instead. I think the cypress would give it a much better popping feel. We've got some sick people. Let's pick up the raid card, and then we're going to raid somebody and see what we can get. These guys up here are not under our control, so I think we start with raiding them. We take a look, and it looks like it's worth 48,000. If we took a look at one of the other cities, this one's 48, that one's 58. Ooh, man, some of them are worth a little bit more. This one's not in our control, and it's worth 60. Let's do this one first. We'll add in our musketeers and our cannons, and if it's like the wars, we're going to shred them, as the cannons are nearly getting rid of one of the militant every single round. And then I believe we get that 61,000. If that's the case, that'll be a huge boost to our economy, and we'll be able to do some things, as we need the money in order to get the breeder. Now that brings us to up here where we're going to place the coffee, and we're going to do something a little bit different for the design of our farms. We're going to move all the farms to this design, but I want to start with these ones. Let's get a road this way. I picked up this territory in preparation. Let's get a road this way. We're going to do the farms in 8x8, and we're going to move away from huge farms. As we get to the industrial age, we want to move away from farms for bakeries. I feel like that is our ultimate goal. Let's get 2 more farms, and then we'll get the granary, we'll get the windmill, we'll kind of get those going. That way we've got these ready for when we have enough money for that breeder. Let's grab the granary next. The granary can go on this side right here. We'll have the road facing them. We'll put a road this way. Let's block in the road this way also. That way I can kind of remember. Now, if you guys are wondering why I left a gap in between, I would like to try out the irrigation pipes, and this will give room for the irrigation pipes to be in the middle. Let's grab the mill next. And what I was thinking is we could have 2 different setups. One setup where we have a breeder here. The other setup would be with a hauler. So if we put a hauler service here, it would fit, and this kind of all fits in that area. But for right now, I just want to let the money recover. Then we'll get that breeder. We'll get this up and going. These farms can be wheat for the time, seeing so we're going to have a windmill there. We will adjust it down to just the 2 workers, and we do have a limit of 1,000. I also set a limit of 1,000 for the wine up here. I think that's well worth it. And we got 61,000 from assaulting that. We got our units back, so we could assault something else that would be pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit that steel card. I think everything's good for the moment. Let's pick up those immigrants. We'll go ahead and take the advanced coffee. Now this gives citizens entertainment depletes 5% slower. And if this is the case that it depletes 5% slower, it means they have to go to a theater or a tavern 5% less. I think that's pretty good. We're not going to take it for the time being just because I have plenty of wild cards. Let's go ahead and delete out these, and then I can sell those cards and make sure that it's out of my budget. And it looks like I have something like immigrants that just came in. So we'll take them because we definitely need them. Let's pick up that motivation, and we'll go ahead and sell off all these coffee makers while we're getting ready for it. We'll pick up the coffee maker or coffee breeder while we're down here. Now medicine is something that we're going to have to go after. We'll probably do coffee roasters, then bread, then medicine. And then if we have time, we'll go into the tech tree and try to pick up the zoo, I'm thinking, because I think there's a card in there that reduces the consumption by 5%, and overall that is huge. Let's go ahead and get the coffee breeder, and as long as we're in here, let's go ahead and pick up the blueberries, as that would be something that I'd like to produce for an extra food variety. And I didn't see where it dropped. Maybe it dropped up there, which is plenty fine. Let's move the motivation. We'll pick up another raid card, and we'll get another raid going since it was very beneficial, and then we can spend some of that money in our policymaker to push our production even further. Let's go ahead and pick up that raid. It looks like we're ready for another cannon, seeing as how we've got a little bit of a bigger military slot right now. Let's pick up the cannon. That way our raids can be even quicker, and then we'll get the coffee breeder over here. Now once this builds, we'll go ahead and change those over. Having wheat over here may not be a bad idea, because eventually we will want another bakery over here. Speaking of that, we have the upgrade points right now because we've been waging war. Let's do the upgraded bakery. It does move it to 522. If we can push this a little higher this episode, I'd be pretty happy. And that takes us to right here. Now we placed the granary in the last episode, but we never placed the bakery down. Let's do a bakery this way, leaving a room for a road here. And we'll go ahead and leave this spot right here because we're going to want a hauling post, but at least they've got access to the granary. Once this builds, we'll move it down to 12 workers. Let's see what type of cards we have. We'll do motivation. Let's pop the blueberries first, and then we'll do a motivation, and I don't know, maybe a motivation and a sustainability if we can. Otherwise, we'll just drop 2 motivations in there until we get a sustainability. We'll just make this one super efficient. I don't think the frugality at the moment, because we have a ton of money, is very important. Let's see if there's another town nearby that's not within our control that we can raid. Let's take a look at this guy down here. Looks like he has 104,000. Let's go ahead and send our units over. This will be pretty good. It looks like they only have 15 units, so we should eat through them without losing another musketeer. That will be pretty good. And they are just wailing on them as we now have an extra cannon. I'm liking what we got going on there. These areas down here where we have things like the tulips, we might do some manipulation with colonies just to get those, just to have them, because I don't like doing huge farms like we've been doing. It's something that works, but it's not something that I really like. Let's take a look up here and see if that coffee maker, if these are up and going, which they are, if the coffee breeder's done. We'll get these switched over to raw coffee. Hopefully this is enough to supply our coffee needs. We'll get our advanced coffee going, and then we'll do the adjustments over here. We've got some money, but I really want to wait for the next big push of money to do some upgrades, and maybe we'll do some quick builds then. Let's do coffee next, and we'll drop that boy. I almost want to drop it right here, but I don't want to get too close to the houses because we know it's going to give a negative. Let's drop it right here for right now. Let's pick up our yearly cards. Hello, there we go. A little bit of input lag there for a second. We can see our revenue went up a little bit over the year, but I think that has to do with wars. Our science went up. If we take a look at our science, I'm curious how much the industrial age is going to cost us. Let's pick up those immigrants. Let's pick up the motivation. We'll probably put the motivation in the advanced coffee. Hopefully it's not too expensive. I'm feeling like we need sustainability. But if we take a look in here, the industrial age costs 36,000. We're only producing 1,000 1,200. So we're going to have to bump up our technology a little bit. So let's look at doing a school at some point in time and some libraries, because I think we're missing a library somewhere. Let's go ahead and increase the budget of this tavern. Let's take a look over here, make sure that we've got a library and a tavern. I believe we've got one here, and down here I think we've got missing library. So let's get a library over here, and I feel like we're missing one more library, and it looks like it is right in here. Let's get this library. We will need a tavern to go with it, so we'll get this one right here. This is going to be one of our big major areas. We just conquered them for 105,000. That is ridiculously broken, guys. I usually wouldn't say that, but that is ridiculously broken. Let's grab a school, and hopefully this will give us quite a bit. It looks like 70%. As I said, this area is going to be pretty big, so it's going to be one of our huge areas. And it looks like this is the same size as the tavern. So maybe we don't build this tavern. We just build the school there. That'll leave room for the market, and then we could build a theater to go in this side over here. Hello, not the technology. I have fat fingers, and we'll put the theater over here. We'll do the same thing as what we did before, where we leave a space. We'll do, I guess we put it right up against it. For some reason, I think that it's supposed to be back one, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it there for now. I might adjust that later. We'll place a market here, but I'm going to go ahead and shut it off, and then we'll place the school to go with this. So just drop that there. We'll place the school next. We've got money. I want to do some upgrades since we've got a little bit of money. Let's buy the school. Let's buy the theater. I will not do anything with the school, and I will shut this off before I forget. Let's bump the budget on the theater. That will get them a little closer so they don't have to go as far. And with this, I do want to place some more houses because I'd like another bakery over here. Let's do a couple of houses right here. Maybe we'll start with 2, as that would give me enough workers for another bakery. Let's grab a copy of this, and we'll go ahead and throw it right there. We already have the hauling service here, so that should maintain that. I don't think we have enough books to really make that pop, but maybe we'll throw a double motivation in this one. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and switch this over to wood. Let's switch over to the one that hopefully just built. Let's move that to 12 workers. We'll drop it to wood instead of to the coal-fired, and then we'll increase the budget. We're going to eat the whole fact that we're spending a lot of money right now, and we're just making up with it with war. That's apparently our economy. Let's go ahead and move it to the Enlightened Age and do all the upgrades. We don't have enough for that last one, so we're going to have to wage one more war, but we have plenty of units. Let's look for a city that is not under our control that we can conquer to get a little bit more points. This would give us an extra 30 if we took out this one. Let's pick up our yearly cards, and then we'll do the conquest over here. Just drop those in. Hopefully they're weakened from the last battle, but they are just shredding through them. So as long as we don't lose a musketeer, I'll be happy, but they are chewing through that musketeer pretty quick. So we might lose one musketeer at the cost of that, get us an extra 30 upgrade points. So it'll be pretty good. I do want to do one more war for a little bit more money, but since we did that war for the money, let's go ahead and go to our policymaker, and we're going to do some policies to kind of increase our city. Let's do 2 levels of national pride. That should get our city attractiveness up to, I'd say, 115. We'll go ahead and do the production twice, get a 6% to everything. Now, our next major battle, I think we're going to probably push those 2 one more level each if we can find another city that has that 100,000 mark. They have conquered it. We didn't lose anybody. Let's pick up another raid card so that we can do another raid. And I'm starting to understand why they recommend playing the game at slower difficulty or slower speed, so you have time to keep up with things. The coffee maker is up and going. I want 2 sustainability cards for this. Absolutely. Let's increase the budget. Let's give a little extra work hours. I'm going to set this to, let's go with 8 workers for now. I do want to prioritize it, so when we have coffee, they're producing. But 93 beans to 117. If we could get this down to, say, 50 to 107, we'd be in pretty good shape. Let's do the appreciation just to bring it to 120. We're going to have to do one more war in order to get the rest of the upgrade points for the last bakery we have, but that's well worth it. Let's go ahead and tab over. It's not built. Let's go ahead and quick build it so that we can get people in here. Let's set it down to 12 workers for the time being. It looks like we're having issues with food. Hopefully they're not shutting down the windmills, as I'm not seeing any flour up here. So hopefully they get a big harvest. They get the production of flour. I may add flour to the buy order just to make sure that we have them. Let's get the baking recipes, the ovens, and the Enlightened Age. We're up to 659 on this one with 2 motivation books. This is the way I did look at the technology tree kind of ahead, and I saw that the ability to make the motivation cards is the very end of the tech tree. And hey, thanks for subscribing. That's, I did not know that that was still active, but hey, thank you for subscribing. All right, let's take a look at the coffee, see if they're getting produced. But before we do that, let's buy 2 sustainability cards. Hopefully it's not too big of an increase, and it's going to be a little bit. Does increase it to 2,000, but I mean, ultimately increasing it that little bit doesn't affect us too much because we will be getting to the ability to make it. Let's throw these into this facility. I got a little thrown off there. I'm not used to the notifications coming through. So this gets it down to 45 beans for 120 cups. We will set a production limit, and we'll try to probably sell off anything over 800. And then we might adjust it a little bit later. It is saying that it's too far from a storage. Let's get a warehouse in here, and then we're going to find another city to raid, as I'd like to have a few more upgrade points. And maybe we do, since we conquered that area. Let's raid first. Let's raid them, and then after we raid them, let's go ahead and conquer them, because I'd like to have their money before we go a little bit further. So let's grab the raid card. We'll do the raid, then we'll do the other. And there's the card. Let's go ahead and raid them. Hopefully these guys are worth a lot. So if we take a look here, I need my raid card. Hello? Oh, we've got a pop-up. That's why I couldn't see them. Let's pick up the steel card. I almost want to do the buy wood, but at the same time, it looks like wood's back under control. Let's go ahead and hit the raid. We can see that this one's worth 170,000. We look at this one, it's worth 172. I think we're going to get a penalty from that one, so maybe we just go with this one. And I'm not sure why everything just jumped up in value, because when we started, everything was closer to 60,000. Now that's up to 100,000. So I don't know if a year changed or what. Let's go ahead and get that. We're going to grab these immigrants. I almost clicked the reject button. Let's pick up that sustainability so we have them for the future. It's going to be a big jackpot. Oh man, am I ever looking forward to having that. We may, as we push our population a little higher, we may be doing quite a few wars in order to get in order to get money. We're struggling with food. Let's add a buy order onto this in order to keep the wheat in stock. So I think we just do flour, as we don't really want to bring in wheat because they're just going to eat it. So we'll bring flour in. We'll bring it up to 400. We'll bring it 100 at a time. That should keep the farms, well, it should keep the bakeries up and going, as it's one cycle every, I believe it's every 3 months. So it should have 4 cycles a year. I may have cut these down a little too low. So we are producing. So maybe it's not that it's cut down too low. Maybe it's just the issue of we're that low on food, and it looks like our food and our consumption has leveled. So it's just getting the rest of the way under control. We have some bricks, and it looks like we are producing them. So something that I'd like to do is get the Great Hull so that we have a little bit more job happiness. We'll start this over here, but what we're going to do is limit it to only 1 worker. That way it can kind of trickle through the building. Let's grab that. We'll place it as close to the center as I can. I'd like to do something fancy with this as we hit the industrial age. Maybe do cypress and some roads around it, kind of like I did with the theater over here, where it looks kind of like it's designed. And that's something that I'd like to do with all of the monuments kind of moving forward. We are autumn. It looks like food may be recovering. And if we look at our fish, something that was something we've been focusing on, it looks like it went down a little bit. So it may have been a rough year for everybody as food just plummeted. We look at the fish, we're almost up to 1,200. So it's not like we're moving in the wrong direction. So it's just a big question of why everything tanked. Our science is up to 16. So we gained an extra 400 by the addition of these houses, and we're still a little bit low of our housing cap. I think we need one more baker just to get a little bit more rounded. That will bring us into this area up here, something that I would like to conquer, as I'd like this area to be redesigned in order to have a bakery and an irrigation. So let's go ahead and grab the irrigation pump next. And what I'm not sure about is we don't seem to have something. Looks like magic mushrooms. Let's take a look at the magic mushrooms and see what's going on with them. I'm going to grab that irrigation pump. I'm going to throw it right here. That should get built, and since it's the middle of winter, we will destroy all of this, getting ready for the spring. I will probably quick build everything here, but I want to take a look at that magic mushroom and see why it's not producing. Unless it's producing, but it's not keeping up. So if we look at it, the consumption's 291 and the production is 250. I may have ever so slightly too few workers in here. And we just got our big bonus there. And it looks like we got all of our units back, so we will send them on another raid. Let's go ahead and hit up our yearly cards. We'll do the immigrants. We'll pop that immigrant. So let's go ahead and pause it for a second as we're going to do some rearranging since we're early spring. Let's throw the sustainability up there. We've got a raid card. Let's throw the granary up there for the second. We'll take the cannons out. We want to immediately raid that small tribe, because I would like to bring them into my settlement in order to have some more upgrade points. So let's go ahead and conquer them. We're going to drop them in there. Hopefully they're weakened from it, but it looks like it does reset their military. That's a little bit of a bummer, I guess, but at least we don't have to deal with as big of an army, and with that many cannons, they are just shredding through them. So it's not going to be a worry. We won't lose any units. I don't want to replace units if I don't have to. We've got some money. Let's go ahead and do an upgrade in the policymaker. I guess it's over here. I like hotkeys for things, so if we could have a hotkey for the policymaker, it would be great. I'd like hotkeys for everything. Let's do one more of the national pride. Let's do one more for the production. Spends a lot of the money, and we unlock the ditches, which will get these farms up and going. Now it is late spring, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Let's do a road this way. Let's show the fertility, as I want to know where that last road is, and then we'll do some farms over here. Now I'm not sure if the level 6 houses are 6 workers or 7. If they're 6 workers, we may be a little shy on the population over here, but at least it will be close. If it's 7, we're going to be in pretty good shape. With this much money, we can quick build, and we can build all the irrigation ditches. This is going to be pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab irrigation ditches next. Let's quick build first so that we can see how much fertility all these have. We'll go ahead and put it just on 1 for the speed, and it's going to be fine for it being wheat. So we can see it's at 67% for the fertility. Let's go ahead and grab the ditches next. We'll bring it straight across. It would have been really good if I had matched the output with where that is going to be, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and bring it over. We'll do 5, something like this. So it's going to be 5 from the end, because I think that gives the maximum efficiency. Let's see how many pipes we have. So we're at 46 of 49. So let's go ahead and give it the rest of the way. And we just conquered them, getting a little bit more upgrade points. I think we need a few more in order to have enough for another bakery, which we're going to want over here. Speaking of that, let's grab the granary. We're going to place the granary right here. We'll do a mill in between, and we'll have to come back through and set the population on this to be 2 when it finishes, but for right now it's fine. We will want a hauling post over here. I'm not sure if it's going to be up and going right away, but at least it's going to give us haulers in order to have the bakery. We'll go with the bakery on this side over here. It gets it nice and far away from our population. We'll go this way right here, leaving room for the irrigation pipes this way, because we will want to have a road here, and then we'll want 4 more farms over here. Let's get them built out. They can slow build these ones now that we have the first set done. We'll probably set these to be medical herbs, seeing as how we had medical herbs over here, and we're currently running into a deficit, and then we're gonna have to look at getting some medicine makers up and going. Thankfully, wood is in good shape right now. So with wood in good shape, we might be able to use the bark extract for the production of medicine, and then we can get rid of some of the medicine maker, or some of the medical fields. But for now, we just have to do something, because we're running into such a deficit. We're even running into a deficit for food. I'm a little bit leery here. Let's get these down to here. What does that bring us to? So it brings us to 71. We're gonna have to be very careful, because I don't want to go over. Let's do something like this, and let's see if it takes us to our cap. If we've got a little bit more, I'd like to expand out these ones, and it looks like we have 8 more to go. So let's do a couple more on this. That would be 3 of the 8. This would be another 6 of the 8. Let's do 1 more. No, I don't think we need to. I think this is good. So if we take a look there, they went from 67% to 92. I don't think that we could ask for a whole lot more. Let's go ahead and set these to medical herbs for this set of 4. Now, the nice thing about this is they do get a bonus as we have 4 fields within a close range. They get the bonus from the granary. They get the bonus from the windmill. They get a lot of bonuses, so they should be pretty efficient. Let's go ahead and set this down to 2. We will place some books in here. Let's do double productivity for the time being. I guess we can throw 2 of them up there. We'll probably want double productivity in the advanced bakery, as we're going to be pushing that as far as we can. I don't think we're going to get to motivation anytime soon, and we should wage another nuclear war just to get a little bit more money. So let's conquer these guys, as I don't think we got as many upgrade points as I was thinking we were going to. I think for some reason these guys are not giving as much. Maybe they're recovering, so they're not giving as many upgrade points as what I was thinking. We are still short of magic mushrooms, so I got to figure out what's going on with that. Let's grab the steel, let's grab this immigration, and then we will figure out what's going on with the magic mushrooms. Let's do conquests. Let's pop all those units in there. We'll get that war going really quick, and then let's figure out why we're not getting magic mushrooms up and going. May have to increase the population of this ever so slightly. This, we're not going to do the intensive care just because we don't want to spend the upgrade points. The other point of this is that we don't want to do this because we're not currently at our max. We'll take this motivation. That's something we're going to want. And I guess we take the sustainability. Let's increase the workers to 12 and see if we get our tier 2 luxuries. And it looks like we should have some tier 6 houses. So let's check our tech tree. Let's see where we're at. It looks like the chocolatier is ready. We're one house away from the industrial age, guys. I'm geeked. Let's pick up cattle, cheese, chocolatier, and the zoo. We are going to quick build the zoo since we have a ton of money, and hopefully we'll get that last house before the episode's done. Let's pass on everything but the zoo. We do want to get that up and going. Let's rearrange our cards since we had the cannoneers pop down below before we got the zoo to populate. And let's take a look, and we have our 50 houses. Oh my gosh, let's get the zoo right here and then take a look at what the bonuses are. And before we have a house degrade, boom, we are in the industrial age. Oh, that is fantastic. We are going to be upgrading some things and hopefully stabilizing our economy. Capitalism or communism, either 50% to luxury consumption, or we get 25% production to production buildings, but it halves the effectiveness of motivation and passion. This could be really good if you were running a deficit on happiness. But I think that we're going to end up going with capitalism to try to boost our economy even further. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We have money, so we can upgrade our town hall. Let's grab happiness and population over wonders, as we don't have any wonders. We're doing good. And if we take a look at our zoo, we can get 50% from cabineers. We can get 5% to food consumption. Oh my God. Or we can get 50% to city attractiveness. Let's pause it. Let's hide the trees. Let's find a boar and drop it in there so that we have more food for our people. And I believe there's one right there. Yep, let's go ahead and capture that guy. Let's throw it in there. Hopefully this gives us all of the food that we need as we've been struggling. And oh my gosh, let's upgrade our town hall. And then I think this is a good spot to call this episode is we just earned ourselves the industrial age. This gets us a 10% industrial production. We do the upgrade, we can see everything, and we can possibly get another card in the card shop. So we got some specialty cards there. I don't know if there's any other unlocks with it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. And we have, let's start from the top. We have the World Trade Office. Oh my gosh. We have pandas, which is 5% city attractiveness. So apparently we have to buy this one. Not able to find it out in the wild, but it's 200,000. Thankfully, we have the ability to now raid for that. The World Trade Center, this increases or decreases the price of trade. Something that could be huge as we are doing some exports. And down here we have, oh, check out this. The Architect Studio, which is 5% to housing appeal. This will be pretty good. Industrial production from the engineer's office. We now have Ministry of Agriculture, 5% production when you have 5 or 8 or more farms. We will be getting that. Absolutely. Birth control prevents childbirth when the housing is capped. We will probably do this and we'll probably slot this into our main building there. We've got Bookworm, 50% to housing for the research when they have books, but they consume more. Bling Bling, they get 30% extra luxury happiness. That's solid, but they consume 2 times the jewelry. Oh man. Social welfare, it's job happiness, but we lose money per citizen. Again, this may be super good to get our happiness high. I'm super excited about the things that we've got going on. We unlocked melons. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you in the industrial age.